Hey, welcome back to the Virgo channel. I'm going to do a message for my winner, and I actually did a reading for him yesterday, but he did ask me about talking about an ego death. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I was supposed to be on at 3, but we had a hurricane here yesterday and they're repairing our lines. They assured me that they were going to be up by 3, but we still had a little glitchiness trying to get on. The house next door to me, the power line is like literally down. They have cones out. I was out there all morning cleaning up. It's crazy. Welcome to Florida, right? Well, anyway, thank you for coming on and sharing your time with me. And like I said, you may resonate with this just because it's, again, a message for my winner doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to resonate with you. Because again, we are like magnets of who and what come into our life. That's how spiritual energy works. That's how the universe knows what to bring you, knows to bring you what to heal, how to evolve, right? Because we're not just down here to live the same life. Unfortunately, a lot of us do. A lot of us, if we grew up in environments that were traumatic, we wind up recreating those same exact type of traumatic experiences. We live in a karmic theme. We're stuck in a karmic loop. And that karmic loop is just the same experience that kind of binds you to fear. Anything that's is comes from fear, because there's really only two energies, love and fear. And so when we're talking about shadows, we're talking about the parts of ourselves that we've detached from, disassociated from. So we want to learn how to integrate those spiritual blocks so that we can actually create the life that we want to experience. So the readings always have a therapy style to them. And the reason why is because not just does my person like me? We know that they have feelings. We don't like the way that they treat us. We don't like what they're showing us. We have questions about, are they stable a lot of times? Because people that have, spiritual blocks, they're emotionally imbalanced. And people that are emotionally imbalanced, and then they're not emotionally intelligent, but then they let their emotions dictate. And they do this unconsciously. They don't realize that they're not doing it. And so what winds up happening is that you're looking at the person being like, I don't understand why you're acting the way that you're acting, but you're making me feel a certain way. And that's the key. We always see, well, why did you attract this person into your life? Because there's a whole point to why certain things happen. And without understanding it, you stay stuck in the trauma. And when you stay stuck in the trauma, you stay at that vibration and you keep getting experiences that have that energy. So if someone cheated on you, now every single relationship, you're going to be like, well, there's a chance that they're going to cheat on me again. It's like, even though it's a different person, well, I don't know what I did last time. That's just how people are. Again, our mind tells us, makes up lies, but spirit says, I am the universe, and the universe is God. And God says, and I am unconditional love, and I'm the energy that's inside of you, the energy that's inside of your soulmate. And that's the strongest energy in the world, because it can't be manipulated. It can't be controlled. It can't be destroyed. It transcends all time and space. So no, spirit says, not coming from your truth. Again, many different realities that play it at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs that determine your habits and your behaviorisms. And when you're saying, well, why does this shit look like the way that it does? Spirit says, don't look at the other person. Look at how you contributed. Because there you'll find the karmic loop, the karmic cycle, what needs to be integrated. Again, that's how you'll always know. And then it's not done. Just because you learned it and you integrated it, spirit saying, what are you going to do with that negative energy? How long were you in that negative relationship? A year back and forth, 2 years back and forth. Well, how long was it? It's like, that's a lot of negative energy. It's like you have to transmute it. And that is grounded. So you see yourself differently. So you get a different version of yourself, a different version of the experience. A lot of times when you change you, that's when you control your environment. So that person that was cocky and didn't want to surrender their ego, well, that's when they're going to surrender their ego, because God says, well, I'm the strongest energy. Believe me, that person will crumble eventually. They might take like a really long time to do it, but they're still going to do it, and it's going to be real uncomfortable, until they do it. So keep that in mind. So the underlying energy is intolerance. Intolerance. I had enough of the bullshit. I feel like you were like, I had enough of the bullshit. I couldn't take it. I was intolerant to, again, this person wanted to treat me how they wanted to treat me. And that's what it comes down to. That's the underlying energy. And so you put this person in a weird situation. And I feel like, because most people don't make anyone, no one has ever made this person have to apologize, have to come back. They're usually able to just, give you a little tidbit, and that you'll come back and be a little flirty, be a little jokey, some time apart. They wear the person down, like, and you're like, I'm intolerant to it. Like at this point, it's not enough. I'm intolerant to that. That is just not enough. And that's really the underlying energy. So we can look to take around to see what this person actually did. Well, I guess it is important, so we will, and then we'll look at the triggers, and then we'll see what this person's going to do. I always want to know what they feel, what they're going to do. I don't care what they did, because what they did already happened, And obviously, if you're intolerant, it means that you're pissed off. Well, I'm like reached the end of the line is what I'm feeling. It's sadness again. Like I feel like this person made you more sad than not, and I feel like it's because they never showed up. Whenever they could have came through, they chose not to. Whenever that's really where the sadness is, and there's also a sadness within inside of you that I also feel, because that has happened before, where it's like like people just don't show up. That seems to be my karmic theme, that it's like no one's ever here when I go through whatever I go through. And I feel like you went through whatever you went through, and this person wasn't there. And so it's like, you don't really care one way or the other. You want to keep it surface. And that's really what you felt. You felt like you want say that you want to be in a relationship with me, but I don't really feel like you want to be in a relationship with me. And it's like, because again, you just withdraw. And that makes me withdraw. And as I was growing up, and this is what I feel, that you were like, I had to, like, whenever I had to go through a hard time, that's what I had to do. I had to withdraw and do it alone, be by myself. It's like, and then the way that you deal with life is you just withdraw from me. You don't want to share your emotions. You don't want to go too deep. Like whatever you've gone through in the past, it's like you keep deflecting it onto me. So it's like you keep reliving it, and I have to live it. But then you're going to get a lot of attention from everyone else. You need the attention from everyone else, but you're not going to give me attention. So there's a major intimacy issue, because you withdraw. You, again, can feel that I'm not happy. And instead of you showing me some vulnerability to create that intimacy, no, instead you're going to go and talk to other people because you don't like the way that I'm acting now, because I'm actually asking for something, for emotional. And that's what I feel like, something so little. And this is what makes you sad. You're like, something so little as this is a problem for you. And it brings you back to original trauma. And the original trauma is like, that didn't happen from this person. But your intolerance has been like, I'm like, I've already learned this lesson. I know when a person doesn't give. I already know. And so you're like this, but then there's still spirit saying, but you're still holding on to the energy because you haven't transmuted that energy. It's like you're like, well, what? Yeah, I just cut it off because the person was a fucking asshole. So, but now it's still, I'm still pissed off because they should have did the right thing. And spirit says you wouldn't feel that same way if you transmuted that energy. It's the fact that it was over time, all the energy that you accumulated, like expecting this person to be different, expecting them to show up, expecting them to like show something, but at all costs, no, in all costs, you felt like they were always on the search for something else. Like, because they withdrew from me, I'm not getting anything emotionally. So obviously, I feel like you have one foot in, one foot out, though you're not saying that. And this person wasn't saying that, but it was the vibe because they would never again actually build that intimacy. And so it's like to be in a relationship that's just surface surface. That's what it feels like, but it's almost like, but no, but I am in a serious relationship with you because I see you, I talk to you every day. I'm not talking to anybody else. And it's like, no, but it's like you feel like that, but I'm still feeling like I'm alone because we don't really have deep conversations. We don't, it doesn't do anything. Hey, Annette, I just noticed that. So I feel like that's, you know, no one wants to be in a relationship like that. But you can see that the person has intimacy issues, that's trust issues, where again, where they withdraw. Now, why would you attract that person into your life? You need to ask yourself because you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. And that would mean that you also have intimacy issues. But we'll look into that after. So again, gaslit. It's like I feel like this person would actually feel that you would gaslight them where they were gaslighting you. Because they're here, they are so protective of their emotions that any little thing that you're gonna say, like to build, to even have a conversation to get to know this person, they would have to tell you something. So now they're always on edge and they're always reading into the questions that you're asking. Like, so it's like, are you cheating on me? Why don't you want me to know that? Why are you keeping me out of your life? And so, because I don't know whether you're going to stay, is that vibe. And that's again, and you being very intuitive, it's like, I can feel like you don't really want me here. And you're the person's like, I don't know. Yeah, I do want you here. Like, it's like, so you're like, felt like you were being gaslit, but I don't really feel like you were being gaslit. And I don't really feel like this person again read you all wrong, like you weren't trying to gaslight them into giving them what you want. Because listen, this person has dated many other people before you, and they didn't all of a sudden become emotionally unintelligent with just you. No, that's been the trauma that they grew up with, and then every single relationship plays out this way, so they already know how people act. It's like you don't need to be that intuitive to like know already. Eventually you get to a stage in the relationship where you want to go deeper in the relationship. I should know certain things. The relationship has to evolve. Like it seems that every stage of the relationship would get like stuck. Well, we're supposed to get to the next step in the relationship, but instead you're gonna like create like everything's a problem, everything's a negotiation. And I feel like that's where you got intolerant to. You're like, I don't want everything shouldn't be a debate. Like everything, like when it comes to what I need. So again, there's this sense of if you really love me, like I wouldn't have to fight so hard for you to do the most simplest things. And I feel like that's an energy vibration thing, that person was just on a lower vibration than you. So that's what it's going to feel like. And and then I feel like there's still, for some, an emotional connection towards your ex. And I don't really feel that. I just feel like when you're with somebody for a long time, and this person dated this person for however long, you get to know, and you know what buttons to push. And I feel like that ex was dealing with somebody that's not emotionally intelligent. So they didn't get what they needed either. So they know how to give guilt and manipulate and to beat this person down because they invested in them. And so this person isn't emotionally intelligent and but does feel guilty because they're like, I know that I should have showed up. I know that I shouldn't have cheated. I know that I shouldn't have acted this way. So I'm going to do it. And that karmic, because at this point now they're a karmic because they're like, I hate them, and whoever is going to be with them, well, I hate you too, because you are not going to make this person's life any happier. Oh, no, 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 no. If you're going to make this person's life happier, well, I'm going to make sure that your life isn't that happy, because I'll make sure that they can't do anything. I will tie up their energy. I will do whatever it takes that you won't want to be with this person. And so, because that person's like, no, 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 I have invested. So, what you're dealing with is someone that's doesn't have a backbone. It doesn't have a backbone and tends to create codependent relationships. Only, they're not the ones that are emotionally, like, they're not the ones that are emotionally investing. They will be financially giving. They will be creating some sort of support. They'll be creating, but they will not be like giving that part of the relationship. So the X factor is that it's like, but it's like, no, no, no. What you see is that. Because then, and unfortunately, if they're connected to someone that beats them down, beats them down, beats them down, well, their self-esteem is shit, but the ego part of self is then going to be on the lookout for someone that is going to help them feel good about them, which again is what you're intolerant to. You're like, I'm intolerant to your like one-sided bullshit, to like your relationship. It's like you make people this way. And that's why you have commitment issue. I have commitment issues because you see how my ex is to me. You see how my ex, but it's like you made that person like that. It's like where they're like they want their karmic retribution. That's not, in wrestling there was actually a person that like a thing called karmic retribution, like a team. Well, it's like I picture this person coming in like almost like I'm gonna smash this person. I'm gonna I'm gonna break them into tiny little pieces. It's like because of how much time, energy, and here it is, this person, you're seeing this person like being all innocent, like, I'm afraid. Yeah, well, you didn't see the backstory, you know, which is like, but all in that, you made me feel like I was forgotten about. So when you had the opportunity before you stirred up this shit with the karmic, but the thing is, I feel like they were still attached to that person at that time. They are no longer attached to that person now. The meaning the karmic doesn't want to have that with them anymore. It's like, oh no, I don't want to be with you, but I own your fucking life. It's like, we're going to make that real clear. Like if I say jump, you're going to say how high. It's like I'm going to ruin you in every which way. Like there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of, because of the way that they were treated. And so, like I said, your person pretends to be like the innocent one, but they're not. And it's like in that they're like, will always be afraid to be in a relationship because this is what they create. This isn't the first. Unfortunately, kind of feel like this person tends to be in a relationship where they're codependent and have somebody give to them. And, the person thinks that it's their soulmate, their twin flame is a karmic. And They give, and then that relationship ends, and then they run into another relationship and run into another relationship. And that's why this karmic is like, oh no, you met me that way. You ran into my arms that way, and I fell for you. It's like, but I'm going to make sure that you cannot do that. Like you're gonna be surfing on every couch that there is. Like that's this person. That means a lot, but it's like they're 24/7. This is my mission to take you down at this point. So again, because of your dishonesty, it was again just dishonesty, and they were dishonest because they're like, well, I didn't really want you to know about this person. I've always been afraid of this person, you know, and that's really what I feel. I feel like this person, sorry, that this person, you know, and knows, when you're with somebody for a long time, when they have temper, what buttons to push. And so, like I said, they're just more afraid. And so, but they lied about that. For some of you, if they are with somebody else, and then like, we're with somebody else, but I don't really feel that. I feel like that was a past relationship. So let's see. Are they going to do anything? Are they going to do anything? Are they going to do anything? Like we want them to do something, or how they feel, something. So again, you are going to have this communication from this person. I felt that. That's why I was like, we'll look into what they think on a deeper emotional level. But it's like, I saw a lot of game playing here. It's like, what I want to see now that they're not with this person, would they try to even communicate? I feel like this person is very insecure. They're in the midst of finding themselves right now. And I feel like they would want a mutual type of friendship. I'm kind of feeling like, or some sort of camaraderie. But then there's also a part of them that's afraid to even be in a relationship. I'm not going to lie, because it's like they're finding themselves. There's a sense of every time they get into a relationship, they create this kind of bullshit. And the only way that you can create this, by the way, is to come in and love bomb and become completely abandon yourself and be everything. Because this person wouldn't have given all of themselves for that way, and to live that way for so long, they don't even know who they are. And that's what I see from this card when I see this of breaking free and rebellious and insecure and on the verge and trying things out. It's almost like they've always been in a relationship, that there's part of them that really needs to figure out who they are. But there's also a part of them that's a codependent. So I feel like they would say that they want a friendship or camaraderie to try and keep you in their life, because of this, like I said, that youth energy. And that youth energy is insecure if it's all trying things out. So like I said, I feel like they would be into that a lot. Yeah, taking a little time off from dating. That's so right now I feel like for them, they're like, once they get out of this situation, because like I said, fully out, or if they're already out, they're like, it almost feels like they just got out. So they're like, I don't really want to date anyone. It's like right now I would want, if we had anything, to like a mutual friendship, that maybe we would do things once in a while. But I'm sure like one thing would lead to another. You would need to have really strong boundaries. And I also think that this person would have a problem with your boundaries, because there's not enough life experience, right? So this person still wants what they want. A person that's insecure, they don't care about anyone. They tend to be selfish, and it's, not worldly enough. So you would, in saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to be, this person's friend. They didn't even know how to be in a relationship. Well, then you would need to start off as a friend, because this person doesn't even know how to be a friend probably to anybody, because again, their energy, like I said, is insecure. They don't know who they are. They need to find who they are. So they would need to take time out. And so it's almost like, if you have feelings for this person, but you also don't really trust this person, but you're like, I'm stuck because I have feelings, but they're an asshole and I don't want to have feelings. Well, if that energy was to still stay the same, you'd still have to do something with it, and that would be, well, come to your happy medium and be like, okay, I would be in your life, but I wouldn't be in your life in a way where you take center stage. You don't. You would start off as a friend, and you would start off as a friend that you would have to work your way back into my life for trust. And in that, you're also finding yourself. It would have to be almost like your energy is older, like almost like you're a sister or a big brother or something like that. And that's probably not what you want. You're like, that's not what I want. But understand, we have all different types of soulmates. Because you'd be like, well, what the fuck is that energy then, that I had a connection? Well, that means that you might be the teacher student type of soulmate, where you have two souls and there is unconditional love, but the person's on such a lower vibration that they don't know how to treat you. They don't know how to treat themselves. They certainly didn't treat that karmic right. Then that karmic is pissed off, taking it out like that it was something wrong with them, when it was nothing wrong with them except for the fact that they stayed in a connection with someone and tried to make it them into somebody that they weren't ready to become, because they didn't know how to do it. They didn't even think that there was a problem. So for you to actually think that they're going to know, no, they don't know. Spirit says the universe brings you what you need. It's like this person needs that energy. You'd be like, well, what the fuck do I need that fucking energy for? Why do I gotta be their friend? Well, we'll look into that like next, but it's like Spirit says I utilize everybody. You'd be like, I don't really like that. I don't like that story. It's like I just want to be that. And Spirit says, well, it doesn't mean that there isn't love there, but what I feel like, it's almost like this, it's part of your healing, part of your healing. They say that because it's like master yourself, right? Like almost like you tend to be very empathetic, very sensitive, someone who, when there's a very strong bond, you wouldn't be analytical, you wouldn't be a strategist, you wouldn't be somebody. But I feel like you have to work with this type of energy. You have to work with all types of energy. So listening to yourself, it's like you may like, so I drew this person to me because I had to become a good strategist, to play games, to contemplate. And Spirit says, no, to because here it is, it's like, look at this, it's like there was no consequences to your actions. So there was, part of it was karmic again. So it's, are you just going to pass the test? But then it's like, so it was just to pass the test. And then Spirit says no, because you have to see what wounds, childhood wounds, why did you attract the person into your life? So part of it is, yes, just a test. But because in order for you to evolve into the next phase, to evolve into the higher state of consciousness where you're able to attract better things into your life and things that are more in alignment, you have to prove that you believe this about yourself. So the universe had said, yes, part of it was just a test, but why would you not pass the test then? And what did I need to learn? And Spirit says, then we look at the inner child cards. This is truth. Card number 1, we have pull 6. Crafts and creation. 2. Innocence. 3. Overwhelmed. 4. Security and safety. Friendship. I hate that card. And the reason why is because this kid does not look like a friend. He looks like a frenemy. Because why would you be like this? You know what I'm saying? So I look at that as a frenemy. And I look at it as like somebody that you were supposed to trust, but someone that you didn't trust. So discernment. And again, to worry about your own safety and security, to live your own truth. Why? Because you grew up where you didn't have that. It's again, if we're looking at your wounds, we're looking at the things in your life. Now you'd be like, well, what does innocence have to do with that? Well, trusting too much of, I want to treat people the way I want to be treated, instead of looking at how a person is really treating you, and saying person needs to earn that. They don't, because I don't know who I'm dealing with. To have better discernment. It's again, unfortunately, the world isn't just clean. And then to also that mindset might have came from, well, my parents were supposed to give me that much love, or my parents were supposed, in spirit, let's say, they were just people that needed to learn their spiritual lessons as well. And so they were born into, that their family that taught them that their lessons, and, past ancestral karma is that it's passed down. Again, where they didn't have the safety and security because their family was stuck in survival. And when we're stuck in survival, we form behaviorisms that are in alignment with that. So parents can't really create safety and security for the children because they're stuck in their own trauma. And it's again, and collectively, a lot of times we inherit stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's again, but the way that they dealt with life, it's like they couldn't be here for me. And spirit says yes, because they weren't taught spiritually. But you have the opportunity to break this ancestral karma, because it's not about love, because everyone loves, but this only I love perfect, God says. Again, otherwise you guys have expectations of what it's supposed to look like, and it's all unconditional. That's all that it is. So it was about you living your truth, because growing up where you're watching your family not being able to, create their life, it is overwhelming. Create safety and security for you as a child, it is overwhelming. And so to be back into a connection like that, it would be bringing you back into that same exact energy that you were brought up in, which is in a relationship where, again, no one's showing up for me. I don't feel safe with you. I don't feel supported, and I'm going against my truth. And but then we're going to say that you're my friend. And spirit says, no, it's again, that's only through time and energy. Now this person is able to give you that friendship, because a friendship is that also because it's the opportunity for it to grow. I don't know. This person's like, I don't know. I know I have feelings for you, but I'm so fucked up. I don't know, like, whether or not it would even work, this relationship. And that's because that karmic broke them into pieces, or is about to. And they're like, I don't know whether I'm coming or going, and I just met myself on the way back. So this is why you are the older energy coming in, that's saying, like, listen, I'm willing, because there is unconditional love here, but you're a fucking asshole. Again, I need to teach you, pretty much. And spirit says, I don't care how it gets done, just as long as it gets done. And when it's unconditional love, it gets done, because it's like, well, like, I feel bad. And spirit says, well, I knew you would feel bad. That's why I did it. You're like, well, then what am I getting? And spirit says, well, we have some good cards here. You got, your crafts and you got your creativity. You found your creativity during this time because this person couldn't pour into you, so you poured into yourself, doing what you love, and it, opened up something for you. It's again, it's also got you to see yourself differently. And if there is love, well, you also got to see by you standing in your truth, being like, I don't care like how many breadcrumbs you throw at me and how many times you leave. I'm still not caving to you. You got to see that the person's like, no, I am coming back. Like, I am going to surrender my ego. I really do want to be your friend. I just don't know what this is going to look like. And it's because they don't know who they are. So that's what Spirit's saying. It's like, if you're willing, and Spirit says, if you're like it's sensitive, then I feel like you'll do it. It's like that's again because there's this innocence and energy to you of unconditional love, like empath energy. Like I would want to help. I do care about this person. I'm angry about how they treated me. Like I don't like the way that they treated me. But then the Spirit says, well, it's like if you look at them like they're a page instead of an emperor, you'd realize like instead like a toddler instead of a grown adult, like a teenager that did something that was a mistake instead of a full grown person, you wouldn't be this angry. You'd realize that they just were on a different level of consciousness, but you're like, but they took it out on me. And Spirit says, yes, but I needed to draw attention to what needed to be healed within inside of you. So it's not so much, oh, this person. You're like, well, it was kind of like this person. Spirit saying, no, it's not, because there's still chemistry, and that chemistry is again that energy. It's like we need to trust that the energy we share will bring us back together again, and that's trust, and that's learning unconditional love, and that's the Spirit saying that's what I am. I make people surrender their ego. I make that happen. It's again like, don't be sad or angry, because understand this person is energetically attached to you. So what happens is when you get mad, they can feel it and then it affects them, and vice versa. So I feel like you may be tapping into them, and then what happens is that you're feeling them and then thinking it's you, and vice versa. And Spirit's saying it's like, because there is a very strong connection there. It's a spiritual connection. There's many different soulmates, but this would be an important one, Spirit's saying, because it helps with evolution. It's like it's important. We have soulmates that come in for a day. We have them come in for a season. We have them come in for a lifetime. This is a person that could stay in your life for a lifetime, Spirit's saying, is someone that would become a very good friend. Because I also have things that they would be bringing to the table. It's again, that's the way the Spirit works. See, because this person even knows I don't feel deserving, and it's affecting my levels of abundance and openness. And that's what I'm saying. That's what their issue is. But eventually they will, on a deep level. That's what I'm saying. When they go down deep inside, they don't even feel like they're worthy of you. It's again, and you're like, look how they treated me. It's like they're like, I know that I didn't act right. I know that I wasn't, but it's almost like a child. Like, I know I didn't act right. I don't know what to do. You know, it's like where you're like, this is what I get. And Spirit says, maybe you need to be taught forgiveness. Spirit saying, I have a feeling like we're making you do something that's triggering you, because it's something that you haven't learned to integrate. And that would happen obviously if you didn't have security and safety. You're like, I expected this person to show up. It's like the minimum. And Spirit says, and did you show up for yourself? And it's like, yeah, I was always the one that shows up for myself. I showed up for myself this time, and I wasn't even mad. Like, I just showed up. And Spirit says, yeah, and that's what it is. You don't need anyone outside of you. The illusion that all this time you needed somebody. It's like, because you never had the safety and security. So it was always like, Someone should be here. Someone should be here. Like, again, you were overwhelmed because you overthink, trying to figure it out, when the whole time it's just about living your truth. It's like, and find your balance. You don't need to be so innocent, but you can be friends with someone. Again, it's more about pouring into yourself anyway. It's, again, you're teaching this person how to be. It's like, and they are bringing something to the table, but it's going to require forgiveness on your part, vulnerability, compassion. Those are things that are hard if you grew up without this safety and security and you had to figure out things alone. That meant you had to be perfect all the time. So you're expecting this person to be perfect. So Spirit says, "Oh no, bring out the broken model, the Z20, the car that only has two wheels, one in the front and one in the back, the really broken one. Yeah, no doors either. They have to hop in. Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't stop. I mean, you're like, what did I got an IKEA brand? It's like, it's an IKEA like car, like why?" And Spirit saying, well, it's, again, that's how you're going to learn. It's like, it's not easy down there. Did you think that it's easy? No, you're not. You're evolving to get to the highest state of consciousness. So the world that you're born into is not of that. It's of a lower consciousness. It's more about greed and every man for himself and survival. And so, we have to give you tools to help you, because you're like, why am I getting the most broken one in the bin? It's like, like the sneakers that you used to have to buy from the bin, the really cheap ones, like when your mom would take you to like Models, and you'd have to go and find your sneaker in the bin, and like you could always find one. It was like ridiculous. It was in a big barrel. It's like, go and find your size 3. It's like, it's like there's a million shoes. Well, that's what it is here, where Spirit's saying, yeah, but if there's love and there's other things and there's a connection, then a lot of times you'll overlook it, or you'll be like, I don't really want to do it, and I don't really feel like it's fair that I do it, but I care about this person. But I'm kind of pissed off that I have to do it. And Spirit says, we realize that. And over time, though, it's all about that you must remember that you're all gods, even with the spiritual blocks and goddesses, and that you work to embody that energy. And you're not embodied that energy because you're wounded too, because you have a problem with forgiveness and compassion. You have a problem with those other things. I told you this person's broken in half into a million fucking pieces. They're not the same person who they were. It's like they're not. So this is going to take, I don't even know if I want to be with you now. You're broken. Your car with two wheels. It's like where Spirit says, again, it's going to require, you to really step into your divine self to deal with this, because the person's not deserving. They know, but do you have compassion? Do you have forgiveness? Because that's what love is. Love doesn't hold the score. So did you really believe that this was a connection? What part are you going to do? That's what Spirit's saying. Because when it's that energy, like how this reading started off, which is, I like this person, but I'm like fucking pissed off. I'm intolerant to it. Spirit's like, are you really intolerant to it? Or can we, because we see that they're trying to negotiate. You're like, that's not a negotiation, the breadcrumb thing that they keep giving. It's like, in Spirit says that's their negotiation. They don't know any better. It's like a child that just handed you like a piece of dirt and said it was a cookie, I mean, and you're gonna get mad at the kid. You're gonna be like, you're gonna pretend that it's a delicious cookie. It's like, I mean, that's what it is. What Spirit's saying. It's like, it's not what you think. You're like, but it's triggering. And Spirit says, yeah, because all that shit needs to come out of you. It's like, so we can sit here and be like that. So it's going to be up to you. And so I have a feeling like you're going to be like a little bit back and forth to be like, I don't know if I really want this. And Spirit's like, it's up to you. Like that you're like, why is it up to me? It's like, now I feel bad. Spirit's like, maybe you just need to find your balance with it. That it's not all or nothing. That it's, you learn that you're either all or nothing. And that's an issue too. It's because that's, no one can be all and it shouldn't be nothing. That you should still be pouring into yourself where you're mostly all, and then you're giving this person. And you don't need to be spiteful and give them breadcrumbs back. You give them again what is fair for where it is in the relationship, but then also show them that you have a lot of friends and that they're insecure. You don't need to even date. They're already going to think that that's what you're doing. But without proof, they'll be like, I got to stick it out. I got to stick it out. I don't want to stick it out. And the Spirit says, yeah, that's their healing. And it's like, because they're insecure, but I need them to rise. Again, I need them to get to the next level. And so healings doesn't feel good. So yeah, I'm using you as the catalyst. You're like, yeah, and I'm pissed off about it. Yeah, and so's this person. They're not really happy about it either. But I have to intervene sometimes because sometimes the wounds are just that deep. I have to orchestrate certain soulmates to come in, to teach, to come in, and you'll decide. But this person is ready to evolve. It's again, and they are starting from the ground up. You don't have to worry about anything because you're being full control. Like, I don't know if I like that either. And Spirit says, well, that's a problem too, which also gets you into your relationships where you say, well, this person, what are they doing? They're coming in. Where Spirit says, maybe you need to take a little initiative once in a while. It's again, this is what it's about. I'm trying to make you step into different characters so that you can change. Otherwise, what will happen in the relationship? The person will trigger you. You'll tell them to, screw off because they weren't. But then you'll still feel bad because there is a spiritual connection. So Spirit says, you'll do what you want, but you still feel bad because I always win. If I want something to happen, you can do it, you can go against me, but there's also karmic consequences. So I don't know if you really wanted to do that, you're like, it's like Spirit just says, find your balance. It's not all or nothing. It's about acceptance. Acceptance, see? Where it's like Spirit saying you just have to accept it. And it's like, I accept every step that life presents me without resistance. I try to find out what the universe is trying to teach me so that I can grow. Thus, I advance in freedom on the path to light. And that's what, again, this reading was about. It's like, yeah, the person did a lot. But Spirit's saying not for the reasons that you thought. And yes, did they do something to create problems with that karmic? Yes. But then don't do what the karmic did. The karmic was the one that was the rescuer. Spirit's saying, I'm not asking you to be the rescuer. I'm asking you to be a friend. There's a difference. It's again, so use discernment. If it could, otherwise you're like, well, I have feelings for this person, but I don't know what to do with them because they're on a low vibration. Spirit says you're the teacher. It's again, with love, they're going to do it, but it's going to be like a child. What do you mean I got to do that? Can't you do that? Can't you? No, I can't do that for you. And no, I'm not going to be around tonight. I actually have plans, but you can do that. I don't know if I can do that. And you're going to hear all the anxiety and the nervousness and the this. And you're like, thank God. And you're going to get in your car and you're going to say, thank God I'm on my way to such and such. Goodbye. I'll see you. I'll see you later. Don't have a heart attack. Breathe. And you'll be on your way to wherever, and this person will learn how to adapt. It's like but it's not about you sitting there let me spoon feed you. The Spirit says, now you went back to where you were. You fucking lost. No. That we're not codependent here. No, we don't do that. It's not one or the other. It's balance. Is what Spirit says. It's balance. It's learning how to be a friend because it wasn't done to you. So you kind of have a little bit of those issues where I don't really know if I know how to do that or if I want to do that or it's again, what am I getting in return? And Spirit says, No ownership, you're not getting nothing except for like elevation. You're like, if this person's going to be able to evolve to a level that you like, wow, I really like this person a lot. And it's because they really like, now that I gave them love and I showed them that they can be vulnerable and trust me, because they have trust issues. Because again, that's why they come in not sharing anything, that I didn't have any expectations, but I didn't give make they weren't feeding me the energy that I was sustaining myself. I don't need that from them. I do that myself. So from doing that, you're teaching this person that wants to mirror the energy. That's what the universe knows. The universe says, this person needs a diagram. We need a diagram, IL3. Yeah, they don't know. Can somebody that they're really bad at charades? We need it really to spell it out for them, because they're not evolved. Then you've not evolved means stuck in fear. I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself. So codependent. Oh, that's why they need the emotional. That's why they don't show up. But again, Spirit says, but they have other gifts, just so that you know. It's like, because I don't make somebody have everything wrong. Like it's again, they have something to offer, to bring to the table. But right now, this is about you, why you brought this person in. It's like you need to integrate those certain things. And you're like, I don't really want to. There's nothing wrong with my life. I keep my life safe and perfect, and it's all neat, and it's always and never messy, and it's never done. And I always pay attention to how I treat people. And Spirit says, yes, yes, you're more evolved. Yes. But again, you're not very nice. You're not very nice, and you're not very compassionate sometimes. You have a little hard time with forgiveness, I'm just saying. So Spirit says, and that's the biggest one. Spirit says, that's the biggest law. And you don't want to do it. I don't have a problem. The guy down the block died. Did you know who he was? No. but I felt bad that he died. Yeah. Like where Spirit says, it's again that we want you to get the intimacy part, the trust. That's how this started off. You got a trust issue. Remember? That's why you attract. And trust is this learning to be compassionate, bringing your shit to the table. I don't feel comfortable with that. And Spirit says, well, you won't. Healing doesn't feel good, but learn to accept it, because it's why you're down here. And I'm going to leave that there for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, and check out my wait list. If you haven't, sign up for it. My big unveil to healing the effects of trauma is going to be October 1st. And if you sign up for the wait list, again, that's in the description box, along with all other important information. I think you get something for free. So, I mean, and it's free to join. So there's no, you can't lose, is what I'm trying to say. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.